Not But a Fan is a lady from Iowa, a secular Buddhist. And I'm sorry, I just put two people on. Hold on. I'm going to return to queue. Not But a Fan is a guy out of Oregon who says, can you provide an argument against the idea that a false flag tribulation is being staged in order to fool Christians into complacency? Is it New World Order reset chaos? Golly. All right, really quick. We have to be very careful about this one because we're not going to talk about the election. But we can talk about, because of the 501c3 status of the ACA. And Not But a Fan, you appreciate that, correct?
Yeah, I won't bring up the...
Yeah, I know you're not. All right, cool. We're so in sync right now that we're finishing each other's sentences, all right? All right. Can I provide an argument? Well, ever since I was a kid, I think I can. Ever since I was a kid, I've noticed that these... I love the Charlies, the charlatan preachers who are healing people, who are speaking these magic words to get people to give them money so that they don't have to get like a real effing job, so they can con people out of their hard-earned cash and in some cases their time and their very identities. And so they're always talking about how these are the end times, and they point to various things in the news. They point to astronomical events, and they rely upon the sometimes goldfish-like qualities of the human memory to con people on just enough to get the coins in their pockets. And so I don't think a false flag operation is necessary for that. I think that there is enough dirt bags with their hands out to shake people up so that they'll keep on dropping money into that basket. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Sydney?
So I don't think it's new.
Yeah.
I do think it is a tactic used. For example, on the corner down the street from my house, there's a man, I've lived here for 4 years, and there's a man who stood out there every single day with a sign that says the end is near, and then all this literature on the back that I'm sure he reads if you stop by and I just realized I haven't seen that guy in like a month. I hope he didn't get raptured. Maybe he did. Maybe that's why I'm still here. But he's done that for 4 years. And so while I would not be surprised at all that many of the people perpetuating this rapture narrative don't actually believe it. I have this whole theory that most of the megachurch pastors and those type people aren't actually Christians. They're just business people, but that's a whole other episode. Yeah. I do think a lot of people actually do believe the rapture, and I do think a lot of people truly believe the rapture is coming in their lifetime, but that's not new. That's been around as long as the rapture has been a threat to their existence and has been part of the theological version of religion that they believe. So I kind of think a little bit of both. One, wouldn't surprise me at all if some charlatan, some businessman masking as a religious leader was using that as a way to get money or certain perks from people. But at the same time, it's not new. It's not a new idea. I think as long as the rapture has been part of the narrative, it's been used against people.
Yeah. What do you think, Not But a Fan?
I Googled Operation Cirrus, 1947. B-17 was used to drop 50 kilograms of dry ice into a hurricane for the first time. The hurricane was heading out into the Atlantic, but did a 130-degree turnabout and slammed into Savannah, Georgia. It caused $2 million damage. Killed one person, and it was in all the papers. And Operation Popeye was used to muddy the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That's documented. And Operation Storm Fury in 1966 used Hurricane Hunter planes to, well, they said they were trying to lessen the damage of hurricanes, but I tend to believe, given
Okay, that's cool. But your question was, can we provide an argument against the idea that a false flag tribulation is being staged in order to fool Christians into complacency? There's all kinds of interesting stories, whether true and or I think you're talking, so I'm going to mute you if I could figure it out and just finish my little spiel. All right. This sounds like a great call for Truth Wanted, honestly. If you want to talk about Operation, Candy Crush or whatever it's called. But you wanted to talk about false flag tribulation. And I think that's enough of us to talk about it today. All right. So, Ion Fury, whatever, Turbo Overkill, whatever it is, I don't know. But we're talking about how you don't need a false flag operation. That usually, in my understanding of a false flag, right, based upon, the good work of Alex Jones, that I've caught in clips because, fantastic things that are happening to him, the chickens come home to roost. But is that there's some sort of institution that wants to orchestrate a false narrative of facts to cause people to react in a way that is what they're actually after. So, or at least put out the news that these things are happening. So we said that we don't need the institution to do that. We said we got enough I said dirt bags,
I too say dirt bags.
We here at the ACA are referring to these people who got their hands out with faith healers and as dirt bags. Call if you got a problem with that. That's how they're able to trump up fears of a tribulation, and so they can get cash. So what is your response to that? Not but a fan, okay? Not Operation, Castlevania or whatever. Go ahead. Oh, I think sorry, that's a false flag. All right, you're unmuted. Go ahead. False mute.
Hello. Hi.
Yes.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I didn't mean to talk over you.
Got thick skin. Don't worry about it.
There's a delay. There's a slight delay on the phone line, so I can't tell if I'm doing that.
Yes. No, you're good. I'm angry. I'm just wanting to make sure that we. So back to what we started off with.
Yeah, one of the things that I like to hear is people allow others to talk. So I'm sorry I talked over you. So
you're cool.
So you want to focus on just the psychology of people being tricked into believing a certain way? We were talking about false flags. Is that?
Go ahead, Sydney. You got that.
You want to keep it to that and not to the specifics of different operations, right?
Well, I think what we're saying is we just want to scope it to this particular instance you were asking about. If this rapture idea or this end of times idea is a false flag. And so just to make sure that we understand, as a group that we agree, the definition of a false flag is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. Is that what you mean when you ask if that's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think this has two aspects to it. I hope I'm not talking over you now. This has two aspects to it. First, there are those who say that people that the WEF represents are staging a new world order reset.
Okay, real quick. What's the WEF? I don't know that term.
World Economic Forum.
Oh.
Let's just say the powers that be. We could just say the powers that be.
That's right.
I don't think Bezos and Musk are the richest people on earth. The Queen of England had 1.5 trillion, and the Rothschilds have 880 trillion. So we don't know who's really in charge, but the people pulling the strings.
Okay. The puppet masters.
What they want to do is. Yeah. Right. I think. Yeah, like in the case of Biden. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I won't use those terms anymore. But I think what they want to do is frighten people into throwing up their hands and saying, we'll take any tyranny in order to restore a sense of normalcy. So we have these gigantic floods occurring, like the one in Spain that just occurred, or in in northwestern Carolina. But and then by doing that, by making this look like a biblical book of Revelation's tribulations, the 7-year tribulation, I read Hal Lindsley and all that when I was a kid. So by doing this, they gain the complacency of 75% of the population of the United States and theists all around the world who are Christians, thinking, oh yes, well this is the end times and it's God's will. And another aspect of it is that when I go onto the live chats and comments of people who put podcasts up where they're dealing with the aftermath of northwestern Carolina, all the truckers coming with supplies and all that, I see a lot of people offering prayers. And when they offer prayers, it seems like a codependent relationship with their God. Their God, in their mind, they believe it's an act of God. Every leaf that falls is by the hand of God. So they believe that Hurricane Helene was a God-sent disaster, but then they pray to the same God. And I think that is what is being manipulated by the powers that be. They realize what people believe, and they're tricking us. And the way they're able to do this, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but the way they're able to do this is through technologies that DARPA doesn't send out memos to each of us of, I mean, there's been secret weapons that have been developed since the atomic bomb in the 50s, and it's not just a stealth bomber. There's all kinds of stuff they have.
I don't think it's that deep.
With pulse laser.
All right.
I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's what you're trying to equate it to, or what you're asking if there's evidence against the idea that it's a false flag. I think one of the toxic aspects of religion, especially evangelical Christianity, especially religions that follow the Bible, are that they believe in things like the rapture and the end of times, and they use that as a whole. Part of their whole entire thing is that one day you'll either be raptured to heaven or you won't be. And their whole thing, their whole brand is that one day the world will just be stricken with locusts and natural disasters and fire, but the religious people and the Christians who followed God will be rescued from all of that. I don't think it has anything to do with a false flag. I don't think it has anything to do with non-Christians maybe planting this idea to scare all the Christians, or the powers that be at the church planting this in the media to scare people. I truly think this is just a real world example of the toxicity of Christianity, where, like you said, something horrible happens, a flood, a tornado, a fire, something astronomical happens, and they go at the same time, they say, God is punishing us with this thing. And they also say, I will pray to God for salvation from this thing. I don't think it has anything to do with conspiracies or false flags or any kind of outlandish government or economic or world order thing. I literally think you're just seeing the toxicity of religion at play. You're just seeing it work the way it was supposed to work. And even though it doesn't make sense, that's never been part of the equation, making sense. It's always been God is the reason and the purpose and the punishment and the reward. And you're supposed to pray. And if you don't pray, it'll happen. And if you do pray, it'll happen. So to answer your question, I don't think it has anything to do with false flags or conspiracies or government or anything like that. I think we're literally just watching religion work the way it's supposed to work and being really creeped out by it and being really saddened by it, and watching it take a toll on people in their most vulnerable moments when that should be the last thing they're focused on.
And I realized I might be talking too close to the phone. My voice sounded like an amplifier that was clipping. It might sound better now. Thank you for taking the time to discuss this, and have a good show.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care.
Take care.